Everyone, today I'm going to show you how to solve a more difficult cubic equation, just like here, by using rational root theorem and synthetic division. In my previous video we solved a cubic equation just like that, which is quite easy. We could solve it by simple factoring. So just to remind you, we obtained this form after factoring. We have two terms. You can see it, x squared times x minus 2 minus 3 x minus 2. So that was enough to say that root is either 2 or square root 3 square root minus 3. So that was enough to solve it just by this simple factoring. But here we cannot do it, because if we divide it by two different terms, we will have different forms. We will not have x minus 2 like here, because these two terms, you see that they are the same. But here this it won't be the same. So what we should do, we need to apply a different method, and I'm going to show you. First, we are using rational root theorem, so we need to look at this first term. This one, x to the power of 3, and 4 is the last term. So these are our data we need to apply rational root theorem. So first coefficient here is 1, the last coefficient is 4. Okay, so from this we have 1, from 4 we have 4 here. This is what we need to apply rational root theorem. This rational root theorem helps us guess what is x equal to. So we can guess from certain group of numbers, not all of the numbers. So we check it from all the factors of 4. So what are factors of 4? Factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. And it can be also -1, -2, and -4. Because we divide them, right? We divide 4 by 1, 2 by 1. But as long as this is 1, then they remain unchanged, because the number divided by 1 gives the same number. And okay, so we can plug this into the equation and see if one of them makes sense. Right? We should also write here that equals 0. So we need to apply these factors, plug them into x, and see if it equals 0. So let's try with number 1 first. So we choose number 1 and substitute x with 1. So we write 1 to the power of 3 minus 4. Here we write times 1 to the power of 2. We can write it in brackets, minus 1, because here we have only 1x, and plus 4. It should equal to 0. Okay, so let's check it out. 1 to the power of 3 is 1, minus 4, minus 1, plus 4. Does it equal 0 or not? If it equals 0, then we have our first root solved. So 1 minus 4 is minus 3, minus 3 minus 1, minus 4 plus 4 equals 0. Very, very good. So the first root is 1. We guessed it right. We were lucky, but sometimes it's not as quick, because it could be 2 or 4. So we need to sometimes check them one by one until we get the right one. Okay, that's how rational root theorem works. So we got number 1. Okay, I will clean this area, I will erase it, and we can continue. What we should do next? What does it mean that we have found our first root? So we found our first root, which means that x equals 1. X equals 1. So this is the first step. We know that one of the, but we know that cubic equation has 3 solutions. Just like a quadratic equation has 2 solutions, cubic equation has 3 solutions. So we need to know 2 more roots. We know the first root. So what will be next? The first root can be used to obtain 2 other roots. Right? We know the first root, because we can do division. We can divide this polynomial polynomial, we can divide it by x minus 1. Yeah, that would be our division. Why do we divide it by x minus 1? Because root is 1, which means that x minus 1 equals 0. So if you solve this equation, it means you move it to the right side, you change the sign. It means that x equals 1. Therefore, we can perform this division. So we should divide this polynomial, x to the power of 3 minus 4x squared minus x plus 4, divided by this. And this will help us to reduce cubic equation to quadratic equation. So from cubic, what we are targeting now, cubic will be reduced to quadratic equation, which will be later much easier to solve either by factoring or by quadratic formula. Okay, so let's perform the division, but what we're gonna do here, we're not gonna do a full division of polynomials. It's lengthy, it's long. We're gonna do something which is called synthetic division of polynomials. Synthetic division is a shortened form of division and it's much faster. So let's divide it. I'm going to show you how we can divide it. Let's erase this. Okay, we don't need that one. So in order to do it, to divide this polynomial by that one, right, we divide it by this. We need to write, first we write a root. What is the root? As we remember, root is 1. So we write a root here. Number 1 is root. Then we write all the coefficient next to it. Yeah, we cannot draw a line. Here we write all the coefficient, x squared coefficient is 1, another coefficient is minus 4, another coefficient is minus 1. You see, all this a, b, c, d, all this coefficient, and the last coefficient is 4. So what shall we do here? We can write another line here. That's how we divide it. This is synthetic division. So all this number represents the coefficient. This number represents the root, which we calculated before. So first, this number, which is number 1, coefficient number 1, we just write it without any changes. We just write it, and then we multiply. We multiply this first number by the root. And the result we write under the second coefficient. So 1 times 1 is 1, and we write it here. Now we add these two numbers. We need to add them and write them here. So minus 4 plus 1 equals minus 3. So we write here minus 3. Then we multiply minus 3 times 1 equals minus 3. Okay, perfect. And now we add them, minus 1 plus minus 3, with minus 1 minus 3 equals minus 4. So we write another number. Again, we multiply this number by the root. So here, minus 4 times 1 equals minus 4. And now we add these two numbers. 4 plus minus 4 equals 0, which means there's no remainder left. And this is our solution. If you don't get 0, it means that you didn't find the root correctly. But we found the root correctly, that's why we reached 0. So what you see here, this is our polynomial. The result of division of that polynomial divided by x minus 1 equals this. What you see here, of course before 0. So we need to now write it in the form of polynomial, because we just see numbers. So the first number will be x squared minus 3x minus 4. Yes, we got our polynomial, and as you can see, this was simplified to the quadratic equation, which can be written like this. Okay, so the first one is already solved here. We know the root is 1, but we can further factor it. So how can we factor it? Let's factor it quickly so we will know the final solution. Okay, I already did it was synthetic division. I will quickly erase it. So we have some space. Okay, so we'll be done. We're almost done. Okay, so what you see here, this is our quadratic equation. So we have terms coefficient a, b, and c. So when we factor quadratic equation, we need to find two numbers such as x times y equals c, and x plus y equals b. So can you find such numbers? So we have c is minus 4 and b is minus 3. So we need to find a number which we multiply, we will give minus 4. Two numbers. So number times another number gives minus 4. So what is this? It can be, for example, 1 and minus 4. So first one is 1. 1 times minus 4 gives minus 4. So we got this number. Let's see what's happened. 1 plus minus 4. Okay, 1 plus minus 4. What will it be? Plus and minus gives minus. So 1 minus 4 equals minus 3. So we have found our factored form. We have minus 4 and minus 3. We have factored the equation. Sorry. No, not minus 3. Solution is 1 and 4, these two numbers, because they just need to be in agreement. So we found. So this one I don't need to circle it. Please forgive me this. Yeah, the number 1 times minus 4 equals minus 4. So we've got C. And 1 plus minus 4, 1 minus 4, because we see that 1 minus 4 equals minus 3. So we just know that these are our numbers. So solution is 1 and minus 4. So we have all of the roots. Okay, so we will write down again how to write this equation. So this factored form can be written, this quadratic equation can be written as factored form x plus 1. Here will be x minus 4. So we got our roots, and we write before x minus 1. So when we check the root, we need to write this number with the opposite number. So x equals, the solution is x equals either 1 or x equals minus 1, because it's here 1, or x equals 4. Because we changed for button, it should not be minus 4, it should be 4. This is our solution of our equation. Here's the fully factored form. Maybe I will just write it one more time clearly so everyone will see it. I don't have a good computer program to write it. I'm just using it Paint. Okay, but the fully factored form is like that. Here is x plus 1 and x minus 4. Yeah, this is the fully factored form. You see, it has 3 terms because it's a cubic equation. And x equals 1, x equals minus 1, and x can equal 4, because when we give solution, we change this sign to the opposite sign. Okay, so you can see that's how we solve it using rational root theorem. This is the solution of this equation. You can see here it's not that difficult, but you need to remember all the steps and do it correctly. Okay, I hope that you find this video useful. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Bye.